Have you ever been startled from a deep sleep, seized by the sharp, unyielding grip of a cramp in your leg or foot? It's a familiar, agonizing sensation, a sudden, violent knotting of muscle that has you instinctively sitting upright, kneading your calf in a desperate attempt to find relief. If you have, you are far from alone. Nearly 1/3 of older adults in the United States experience these nocturnal muscle cramps, yet many are unaware that a potential contributor might be hiding in plain sight on their dinner plates. We are often reminded of the cornerstones of good health: staying active, hydrating properly, and monitoring our salt intake. But what if some of the most common vegetables, even those we consider pillars of a healthy diet, could be quietly disrupting our muscular harmony? Today, we will explore 6 popular vegetables, or veggie-based ingredients, that appear innocent, but may be an overlooked cause of those nighttime cramps. They are nutritious in many respects, but for those over 60, frequent consumption or improper preparation could mean they are silently working against you. Now, our intention is not to discourage you from eating your greens. Rather, it is to empower you with knowledge. Understanding how certain foods interact with our maturing bodies can profoundly impact our daily well-being. So, if you've ever been plagued by these sudden muscle spasms, or simply wish to prevent them, this discussion is for you. Before we begin, let's make this a shared experience. If you have ever been woken by a muscle cramp, we invite you to type the number 1 in the comments. If you have been fortunate enough to avoid them, please type a 0. And do consider subscribing to Health 365 so you never miss these practical insights into well-being. Let's begin with a surprising vegetable that might be subtly weakening your thyroid and disrupting your mineral balance without your knowledge: cabbage. It seems harmless, with its satisfying crunch and low calorie count, making it a staple in salads, slaws, and stews. However, there's a detail you may not know, especially if you enjoy it raw. Cabbage is rich in compounds called goitrogens. These natural chemicals can interfere with thyroid function, a risk that increases if you have an underactive thyroid or consume large quantities of raw cabbage regularly. Why is this significant? Your thyroid is not merely a gland in your neck. It is the master regulator of your metabolism. When it functions suboptimally, it can disrupt your body's delicate balance of essential minerals, such as magnesium and potassium. These minerals are vital for proper muscle function. Without adequate levels, your muscles are far more prone to contracting suddenly and painfully, leading to those unwelcome midnight cramps. In fact, a study in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism revealed that even mild thyroid dysfunction can cause electrolyte disturbances, elevating the risk of muscle cramps, particularly in older adults. If your thyroid is already sluggish, you may be compounding the risk. Consider the story of Helen, a 72-year-old viewer from Oregon. In excellent health, she enjoyed a homemade cabbage slaw nearly every other day, but was consistently woken by cramps in her calves. After consulting her doctor and examining her diet, she suspected the raw cabbage. She began lightly steaming it instead, and incorporated more magnesium-rich foods like almonds and spinach into her meals. The result? The cramps subsided. So, what is the takeaway? Cabbage is not the enemy. But if you consume it raw frequently, consider reducing your intake. Cooking cabbage, through steaming or sautéing, significantly diminishes its goitrogenic compounds. Also, ensure you are maintaining healthy magnesium and potassium levels through your diet, or, if necessary, supplements recommended by your physician. Cabbage, however, isn't the only subtle trigger. Let's turn to something even more ubiquitous, found in sauces, soups, and beverages: the tomato. Juicy, vibrant, and a cornerstone of so many kitchens, this versatile fruit vegetable is everywhere. Yet, for older adults experiencing leg cramps or muscle twitches, tomatoes can be a hidden troublemaker. The reason lies in their mild acidity. While generally pleasing to the palate, this acidity can subtly interfere with the calcium balance in your bloodstream. Calcium is not just for bone health. It plays a critical role in muscle contraction and relaxation. When its levels are imbalanced, muscles can begin to misbehave, manifesting as painful cramps. Furthermore, tomatoes can hinder the body's absorption of magnesium, another mineral crucial for muscle relaxation. Low magnesium is one of the most frequently overlooked causes of nighttime cramps, and its deficiency becomes more common with age, due to both reduced dietary intake and lower absorption rates. As a review in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition noted, high-acid foods like tomatoes can exacerbate this problem. Let me share the experience of Robert, a retired firefighter from Florida. A glass of tomato juice was a non-negotiable part of his morning routine. However, he was also waking up several nights a week with intense foot cramps. When his doctor suggested reducing acidic foods, Robert was skeptical, but agreed to try. He replaced his morning juice with a green smoothie made from low oxalate greens. Within 2 weeks, his cramps began to fade. The lesson here is not to abandon tomatoes, which are rich in lycopene and vitamin C. But if you consume them daily and suffer from cramps, it may be wise to moderate your intake, especially later in the day, and balance it with magnesium-rich snacks like pumpkin seeds or a banana. Now, let's discuss an ingredient often found in Asian cuisine: bamboo shoots. These crisp, pale slices add a wonderful texture to stir-fries and soups, and seem like an unequivocally healthy choice. For the most part, they are. But there is a caveat, particularly if they are eaten often or prepared incorrectly. Bamboo shoots contain compounds known as cyanogenic glycosides. This is a scientific term for a natural substance that, if not properly broken down through cooking, can convert to cyanide in the body. To be clear, a single serving will not harm you. But with frequent consumption of undercooked shoots, a slow, subtle buildup of toxins can occur, which may interfere with your body's absorption of vital minerals like calcium and magnesium. As we've established, both are essential for keeping muscles relaxed and functioning smoothly. Without them, nerves can become overexcited, and muscles can cramp without warning. Toxicology reports have linked improperly cooked bamboo shoots to reduced mineral absorption and metabolic stress, particularly in older individuals with slower digestive systems. Marjorie, a retired teacher, shared that she had adopted bamboo shoot stir-fries as a healthy dinner option several times a week. Shortly after, she began experiencing a tingling sensation in her toes and occasional calf spasms. It wasn't until her nutritionist inquired about her cooking method, simply tossing them into the pan without pre-boiling, that she identified the potential issue. Once she began pre-boiling the shoots for at least 20 minutes and rotating them with other mineral-rich vegetables, the strange symptoms vanished. The guidance is simple. If you enjoy bamboo shoots, always boil them thoroughly before use. This neutralizes the harmful compounds. And, as always, moderation is key. Next, let's examine a common fixture in the refrigerator: the pickled cucumber. Tangy, crunchy, and often viewed as a guilt-free snack, these little green spears may not be so innocent when it comes to muscle health. The problem lies in their high salt and vinegar content. Pickled cucumbers are brined in a solution of sodium and acetic acid, which, while creating their signature flavor, can disrupt your body's fluid and mineral equilibrium. High sodium levels signal your kidneys to excrete excess salt, taking potassium and water with it. When potassium levels fall too low, muscles can become twitchy and tight, especially at night. A study in the Journal of the American Society of Nephrology highlighted that even mild dehydration paired with slight electrolyte imbalances can increase the frequency and severity of nighttime cramps, particularly in seniors, whose bodies are less efficient at retaining water and minerals. Take Frank, a 68-year-old veteran from Texas. He never considered pickles a problem. After all, they are just cucumbers. But upon tracking his diet, he realized he was snacking on them almost daily. His doctor recommended cutting back and incorporating more electrolyte-rich fluids. The result was fewer cramps and more restful sleep. Our advice is to be mindful of your consumption of pickled foods. Enjoy them as an occasional treat rather than a daily staple. If you love the flavor, seek out low-sodium versions or try making your own at home, where you can control the salt. And remember to hydrate with more than just water. A glass of coconut water or an electrolyte drink can help restore the minerals your body loses. Now, let's explore a leafy green often lauded for its nutritional value, but which could be working against your bones and muscles if you're not careful. Beet greens. These vibrant leafy tops, often discarded, are sautéed by some and blended into smoothies by others. But few realize they contain a hidden characteristic. They are extremely high in oxalates. Oxalates are natural compounds that, when consumed in excess, can bind with calcium in your digestive tract, preventing your body from absorbing it. Over time, this can create an imbalance that makes muscles more susceptible to seizing up. Research in nephrology dialysis transplantation has shown that high oxalate diets can significantly lower calcium bioavailability, a concern for older adults whose calcium absorption is already declining. This creates a challenging situation, especially when combined with low dietary calcium or vitamin D deficiencies. Diane, a 70-year-old from Michigan, prided herself on her clean, green diet, with steamed beet greens as a regular feature. Despite being active and hydrated, she was baffled by persistent cramps in her feet and legs. A dietitian finally made the connection to oxalates. Diane didn't have to eliminate them. She simply started boiling them briefly, discarding the water, and rotating in lower oxalate greens like bok choy and zucchini. This small adjustment made a significant difference. The smart approach is to prepare high oxalate greens properly by boiling them and to balance your diet with calcium-rich foods like yogurt or fortified plant milks. Finally, let's conclude with a vegetable that might surprise you, not for what it adds to your diet, but for what it can take away. Celery. Crisp, refreshing, and often considered the ultimate light snack, celery seems entirely harmless. But for those over 60 dealing with leg cramps, it's worth a second look. What many don't realize is that celery has natural diuretic properties. It encourages your body to produce more urine, which leads to a greater loss of fluids and electrolytes, particularly potassium. When potassium levels dip even slightly, your muscles are more likely to tighten and cramp. A clinical review in the American Journal of Medicine notes that natural diuretics can contribute to significant mineral loss when consumed frequently, a risk heightened in older adults who may already face dehydration. Consider George, a 74-year-old from Arizona. He thought he was doing everything right, drinking water, staying active, and eating low-calorie foods. Celery sticks were his go-to snack. Yet, he was waking almost nightly with thigh cramps. After reducing his celery intake, he noticed a dramatic improvement within a week. He still enjoys it, but now only a few times a week, often accompanied by a small glass of electrolyte water. So the key is mindfulness. If you enjoy celery daily, consider alternating it with other hydrating vegetables like fresh cucumbers or bell peppers. If you take diuretic medications, it is even more critical to monitor your potassium intake and stay hydrated with balanced fluids. So there you have it. Sometimes, even the healthiest foods can have unexpected consequences as our bodies change. The good news is that awareness is a powerful tool. You don't need to eliminate these vegetables, but rather be mindful of how you prepare them, how often you eat them, and how your body responds. Muscle cramps, though they may seem minor, can take a real toll on your comfort and sleep. The more we understand our food, the more control we gain over our wellness, an empowering feeling at any age. If this has been helpful, please share it with a friend who might also benefit. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Health 365 for more practical, real-world advice. Staying healthy is not about complexity. It's about being informed. Until next time, take care of yourself, eat with intention, and listen to the quiet messages your body sends you. They are always worth your attention.